Hi, I'm Mark Carrion with Channel 4 News. Tonight's top story, lion and tiger mate, making the first ever liger. But first, breaking news at a local hospital, nurses are seen striking. Let's go there. Mark Carrion has live footage. Mark, take it away.
Saves lives. Safe staffing saves lives.
Mark Carrion here reporting from SHI TV. I'm outside Corpus Christi Hospital where the nurses are seen striking. I'm here with Doreen. She's a 5-year employee of the hospital. She's part of the nursing union also. Doreen, tell me a little about the union that you're a part of.
Well, the nurses union exists in order to help the employees in better working conditions such as safe patient ratios, better pay, and the patient safety too.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about the strike that you're a part of today.
Well, I've been an employee of this hospital for the past 5 years, and for the past week, I've been working 6 days continuously. I get no family time, no personal time, and it's stressful. And besides, the safety of my patients is at risk because I can't function right.
That seems to really concern a lot of the nurses here. So tell me a little about how this strike has affected you.
Well, the strike has affected me because I can't do what I have to do, and sometimes it's not all about the money. I need my time too.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Mark Carrion has another exclusive interview. Mark, what do you got for us?
Safe nursing saves life. Safe nursing saves life.
Well, thank you, Mark. I love your tie, by the way. Thanks, Mark. You too. Thanks. I'm outside standing with Zach. Zach, tell us a little bit about your feelings.
Well, it's important to understand that unions work by a group of nurses or a group of individuals collaborating together to negotiate terms if they're having issues within whatever their work environment is. So in this particular case, we're working for safe staff ratios because we haven't had those. But in the case of a strike in a union, what we do is we try to bargain and we try to negotiate with the administration to get our point across. And if that doesn't happen, we have the opportunity to strike. And when we do strike, we have to give at least a 10-day notice to administration so they can have time to get staffing and replace us that are striking. And it's also important to note that those nurses that do strike, they strike without penalty. If they strike, they're not going to be punished after the strike for participation. But it is very costly to the hospital because they have to pay those employees, those backup employees that they bring in instead of those nurses that normally do work.
I see that. So what you're saying is collectively, all the nurses have to get together and agree on this strike before it takes place. Is that right?
Not all of them, but it is nice to have a good backup behind you. If you only have 25% of your hospital, that's not enough of a number to really get your point across.
That's very true. And as you can see from today's footage, thousands of registered nurses and hospital staff are out here striking, making it one of the largest strikes in history. Well, that about wraps it up. How long this nursing strike will last remains to be seen. Mark, back to you in the studio. Good report there, Mark. He sure is something, isn't he? For all of us here at Channel 4 News Team and SHI TV, you stay classy, Corpus Christi. I'm Mark Carrion.
And cut.
Dang it! Who put a question mark on the teleprompter?
In light of the recent nursing strike, we have decided to reappropriate the budget and hire a new staff, which we will be doing in the next 2 weeks, and hopefully resolve this matter.
No. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed our video. Here's just a few facts about nursing unions before you go. The National Labor Relations Act, which was enacted in 1935, is basically how unions got started. This gave private sector employees the right to unionize and allowed workers to have elections to decide if they wanted to be represented. This also established laws protecting employees from discrimination based on union or group-related activity, and it also granted employees the right to choose not to take part in any of the activities. Finally, it defined unfair labor practices.
Some of the basics about nursing unions. One of the largest unions in the nations right now is National Nurses United, with about 170,000 members in every state. NNU-affiliated members are renowned as leading advocates of guaranteed health care by expanding and updating Medicare to cover all Americans. They're known for negotiating many of the best collective bargaining contracts for RNs in the nation, and for sponsorship of innovative legislation and regulatory protections for patients and nurses. Of all the professions with unions, nursing has the largest number of members. In 2003, there was an estimated 2.4 million RNs working, and of those, 21% of them were part of a union. Something to also keep in mind is that Texas has the second largest nursing population of any state. The health profession is specifically targeted by unions because healthcare is very labor intensive and requires a larger workforce. This could also mean more dues for potential members, and unions are aware of hospital staffing issues. Nursing unions exist to help nurses unite and negotiate and fight for things like better working conditions, patient safety policies, better RN to patient ratios, unfair pay, cuts in pay, etc. Unions also help employees fight exploitation, and they finally rally to get bills into and approved by Congress for these purposes. Unions typically bargain on behalf of members with employees, charge dues, lock in work conditions via a contract signed by the employer, and this contract can't be changed by the employer or the union without renegotiation. They also provide for grievance procedures, and they can represent nurses during disciplinary action. When bargaining doesn't work to achieve a desirable goal, a strike does unfortunately occur. Employees are required to give a 10-day notice to administration so the hospital can find replacement staff, reduce census, and reschedule elective procedures. As you saw in our video, we did that. Employees also have the right to participate in strikes and not receive punishment from their superiors. They also have the right to respectfully and peacefully picket at their workplace. There is, however, a downside to nursing strikes. Not only is it costly to the hospital because of fees needed for finding and paying supplemental staffing, but they take a toll in productivity because during a strike, employees are often knocking down the employer's services, so the hospital has a greatly decreased patient volume due to negative connotation associated with a strike. The general consensus is that patient care does suffer and mortality rates actually do go up during a strike, but it's a nurse's moral responsibility to act collectively if necessary to improve conditions or patient care. So before you guys go out there and join a union, just make sure you know what the mission, purposes, and the fees are before joining. That's it.
When you said you felt so happy you could die, I told myself that you were right for me, but felt so lonely in your company. But that was love and it's innate, I still